Hey guys, tonight we're diving into the luxurious and mysterious world of ancient Egyptian perfumes. Imagine yourself wandering through the bustling streets of Thebes, the air thick with the scent of exotic spices and flowers wafting from market stalls. And hey, let me know where you're rewatching from and what time it is. Love seeing how far these sleepy journeys travel. Perfumes weren't just about smelling nice, they were symbols of power, divine connection, and even immortality. The Egyptians believed that scent had the power to transcend the physical world. It wasn't just about smelling pleasant, it was about connecting to the gods, enhancing one's status, and even preparing for the afterlife. They were also a marker of status. If you were wealthy, you didn't just wear perfume, you practically bathed in it. Elite Egyptians would anoint their skin with fragrant oils, not just to smell good but to show off their wealth and sophistication. Perfume was expensive, and the more elaborate the scent, the higher your social standing. Creating a perfume wasn't as simple as mixing a few oils together. Crocodile fat, for example, was sometimes used as a base for perfumes. Yes, crocodile fat. And then there were crushed beetles, which added a touch of vibrant color to certain mixtures. These oddities might sound strange to us, but to the Egyptians, they were just part of the process. It was a meticulous process that required skill, patience, and a deep understanding of chemistry. From the temples to the tombs, from the royal courts to the bustling markets, fragrance was everywhere. It was a testament to their ingenuity, their devotion, and their love of beauty. And as we continue this journey, you'll discover even more fascinating details about how the Egyptians created, used, and celebrated their perfumes. Perfumers would experiment with different ingredients, testing combinations to find the perfect balance. They used techniques like maceration, where ingredients were soaked in oil to extract their scent, and distillation, which involved heating materials to release their aromatic compounds. It was a craft that required both creativity and precision, and the results were nothing short of magical. Imagine walking into a royal banquet, the scent of jasmine and lotus flowers, announcing your arrival before you even stepped into the room. It was a sensory symbol of power, a way to say, "I'm important, and I smell like it." Fragrance was deeply embedded in their culture, so much so that the art of perfumery became one of their most celebrated achievements. The process of mummification wasn't just about preserving the body, it was about preparing the deceased for the afterlife. These precious materials had to be imported, often from distant lands like Arabia and Punt. The Egyptians were master traders, establishing routes that spanned continents to bring back the rarest and most exotic scents. Imagine the effort it took to transport these goods across deserts and seas, all for the sake of creating the perfect fragrance. Fragrant oils and resins were used to cleanse and embalm the body, ensuring that it would smell sweet for eternity. The Egyptians believed that the soul needed to pass through the realm of the gods. And let's be honest, no one wants to show up smelling like decay. Perfume was so important in this process that entire workshops were dedicated to producing the oils and resins used in mummification. The Egyptians were obsessed with fragrance, weaving it into almost every aspect of their lives, from religious rituals to mummification, and yes, even their daily hygiene routines. But don't get too comfortable. Life back then wasn't all roses and sandalwood. The priests are performing rituals, pouring fragrant oils onto altars and burning incense to please the gods. The air is thick with the scent of frankincense, myrrh, and other exotic resins. These weren't just random choices, each ingredient had symbolic meaning. Frankincense, for example, was believed to purify and protect, while myrrh was associated with healing and immortality. The Egyptians didn't just use perfume for their own enjoyment, they saw it as a bridge between the human and divine realms, between the scorching desert heat and the, let's say, aromatic realities of ancient living conditions. You probably wouldn't last a day without some serious olfactory assistance. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. Perfume in ancient Egypt wasn't just a luxury, it was a way of life. Picture yourself standing in a grand temple, the flicker of oil lamps casting shadows on walls covered in hieroglyphs. But perfumes weren't reserved for temples alone. Of course, perfume wasn't just about the living, it was also crucial for the dead. But where did all these ingredients come from? Egypt wasn't exactly overflowing with frankincense trees or myrrh bushes. And then there were the perfumers themselves, artists and scientists rolled into one. Of course, not all ingredients were glamorous. While frankincense and myrrh were the stars of the show, Egyptian perfumers weren't afraid to get a little unconventional. As you can see, perfume in ancient Egypt wasn't just a product, it was an experience, a symbol, and a way of life. Imagine yourself standing in the cool, shadowy interior of an Egyptian temple. The air is heavy with the scent of burning incense, frankincense, myrrh, and other resins smoldering in bronze censers. The Egyptians didn't simply light incense for ambient. They believed it had the power to transform the physical environment. It wasn't just prized for its sweet, woody aroma. It was believed to have purifying properties. Fragrant oils were also an essential part of temple ceremonies. This wasn't just about smelling good, it was about when someone died, their body was prepared for the afterlife, with a series of elaborate ceremonies, many of which involved the use of fragrant substances. Oils and resins were applied to the body during mummification, not just to preserve it, but to prepare it for its journey to the realm of the gods. The scent of these substances was thought to protect the soul from evil forces and ensure its safe passage to the afterlife. It wasn't just about creating a pleasant atmosphere, it was about transforming the physical world into a space where mortals and gods could coexist. The use of scent in rituals was a testament to the Egyptians' deep understanding of the power of fragrance, both as a sensory experience and as a spiritual tool. The Egyptians believed that scent had the power to cleanse the body and prepare the soul for communion with the divine. But the story doesn't end here. Perfume wasn't just reserved for the gods. It was also a symbol of status and power among the living. Kifi wasn't just a perfume, it was a spiritual tool. The recipe for kifi included ingredients like honey, wine, raisins. Ancient texts provide some clues, but the details are often vague, leaving room for interpretation. Some scholars believe that the recipes varied depending on the occasion, the deity being honored, or the region where the ritual took place. Others suggest that the formulas were closely guarded secrets, known only to the priests who performed the ceremonies. And various resins all combined to create a rich, intoxicating aroma. This incense was burned during funerary ceremonies to purify the space and guide the soul of the deceased to the afterlife. The Egyptians believed that the scent of kifi had the power to calm the soul and prepare it for its journey beyond the mortal world. Before entering the temple, priests would wash themselves with scented water and apply fragrant oils to their skin. This wasn't just a matter of tradition. It was a way of ensuring that they were spiritually pure and worthy of serving the gods. Priests would anoint statues of the gods with scented oils, believing that this act imbued the statues with divine energy. These oils weren't your average beauty products. They were meticulously crafted blends of ingredients like lotus flowers, cinnamon, and cedarwood, each chosen for its symbolic significance. The act of anointing wasn't just a physical gesture. It was a spiritual offering, a way of inviting the gods to inhabit the temple and bless their worshippers. Frankincense was burned to ward off evil spirits and to ensure that the temple remained a space of divine purity. Myrrh, another resin, had a slightly different role. Its rich, earthy scent was associated with healing and immortality, making it a favorite for ceremonies honoring gods like Osiris, the deity of the afterlife. Burning incense was thought to cleanse the air of impurities, both physical and spiritual. The smoke rising from the censers was symbolic. It represented prayers ascending to the heavens, carrying the hopes and pleas of the worshippers to the gods above. Priests moved gracefully through the space, their linen robes brushing against the stone floor as they chant hymns to the gods. Perfume wasn't just a luxury here, it was sacred. In ancient Egypt, scent was believed to have divine properties, capable of purifying spaces, pleasing deities, and creating a connection between the mortal and the eternal. Religious rituals were some of the most important occasions for the use of perfumes. Take frankincense, for example. This resin, harvested from trees in far-off lands, was considered one of the most sacred substances in Egyptian rituals. But the use of perfume in religious rituals didn't stop at incense. Even the priests themselves were bathed in perfume before performing rituals. Perfume also played a role in funerary rituals, which were deeply intertwined with Egyptian religion. One of the most fascinating aspects of Egyptian funerary rituals was the use of kifi, a special type of incense made from a complex blend of ingredients. Historians still argue about the exact recipes for kifi and other sacred perfumes. Regardless of the specifics, one thing is clear: perfume was an essential part of Egyptian religious life. As you leave the temple, the scent of burning incense lingers in your mind, a reminder of the profound connection between fragrance and faith in ancient Egypt. You stepped out of the temple and into the sunlit streets of ancient Egypt, where the scent of perfume, dos and tea just belonged to the god Zidis, a marker of human power and prestige. In this world, smelling divine wasn't just a luxury, it was a declaration of status. Perfume was one of the ultimate symbols of wealth, sophistication, and influence. If you wanted to flaunt your elite position in society, you didn't just wear jewelry or fine linen, you made sure you carried an unforgettable aroma wherever you went. The elite Egyptians didn't just wear any scent, they chose fragrances that reflected their personality and taste. Wealthy Egyptians of all kinds used fragrance to assert their status and enhance their image. Perfume was expensive, and the more elaborate the scent, the higher your social standing. If you could afford to wear perfume every day, you were sending a clear message. You were someone of importance, someone who deserved admiration and respect. Imagine a bride being anointed with fragrant oils before her wedding, the scent of jasmine and rose lingering in the air as she prepares to step into her new life. Perfume wasn't just a personal indulgence, it was a shared experience, a way of marking important moments and creating lasting memories. But the story doesn't end with the living. Perfume was also crucial for the dead, ensuring that they entered the afterlife with the same elegance and prestige they enjoyed in life. Perfume was an art form, and the Egyptians were connoisseurs, and bottles made from materials like alabaster, gold, and faience. In the scorching heat of the Egyptian desert, smelling pleasant was no small feat. The elite didn't just use perfume to mask unpleasant odors, they used it to stay cool and refreshed. Fragrant oils were applied to the skin not only for their scent, but for their moisturizing properties. These oils helped protect the skin from the harsh sun and kept it soft and supple, ensuring that the wearer looked and felt their best. These vessels weren't just functional, they were works of art, designed to showcase the precious contents inside. Imagine holding an alabaster jar in your hands, its smooth surface cool to the touch, its intricate carvings glinting in the sunlight. Some argue that it was strictly reserved for the elite, while others suggest that simpler fragrances might have been available to ordinary Egyptians. What's clear is that perfume was a powerful symbol of status, a way of distinguishing oneself from the crowd. If you wanted to stand out in ancient Egypt, you didn't just dress the part, you smelled the part. The jar itself was a testament to the wealth and taste of its owner, a reminder that perfume wasn't just a product, it was a symbol of luxury. They understood the nuances of scent, the way different ingredients could evoke different emotions and create different impressions. A woman might choose a floral perfume to highlight her beauty and femininity, while a man might opt for a spicy, woody scent to emphasize his strength and authority. Picture a royal banquet in the palace of Pharaoh. The rooms are adorned with gold and alabaster, the tables overflowing with delicacies. But the true showstopper isn't, though, the food, it's the scent. The air is thick with the aroma of lotus flowers, cinnamon, and exotic spices, all carefully blended into oils and balms that the guests have applied to their skin. Perfume wasn't just a personal accessory, it was a sensory experience that enveloped everyone in the room. To smell like royalty was to be royalty, and the Egyptians took this idea seriously. Perfumes were so valuable that they were often used as gifts or tributes. Imagine a visiting dignitary arriving at Pharaoh's court, bearing gifts of rare perfumes from distant lands. These weren't simple tokens of goodwill, they were symbols of respect and admiration. To present someone with a bottle of perfume was to acknowledge their importance and honor their status. And if you were lucky enough to receive such a gift, you didn't just accept it, you displayed it proudly, letting everyone know that you were worthy of such luxury. But perfume wasn't just about impressing others, it was also about this obsession with perfume wasn't limited to the royal court. Even the way perfume was stored reflected its value. The Egyptians didn't just keep their fragrances in ordinary containers, they used exquisite jars. But perfume wasn't just about appearances, it also had practical uses. Perfume also played a role in social rituals, from weddings to celebrations. Historians still debate the extent to which perfume was accessible to the general population. As you wander through the streets of Thebes, the scent of perfume is everywhere, a reminder of its importance in Egyptian society. Now, let's step into the shadowy world of ancient Egyptian funerary practices, where perfume was more than a luxury, it was a necessity for ensuring a smooth passage into the afterlife. The Egyptians believed that death was not the end but a transition to another realm, and they spared no expense in preparing the deceased for their journey. The embalmers are at work, carefully preparing the body of a nobleman for burial. The Egyptians believed that the soul needed to pass through the realm of the gods to reach the afterlife, and perfume was thought to act as a shield against evil forces. The sweet scent of the oils and resins was seen as a sign of purity, a way of ensuring that the soul would be welcomed into the divine realm. They begin by washing the body with scented water, a ritual cleansing that symbolizes purity. The linen wasn't just a protective covering, it was a cocoon, a sacred wrapping that symbolized the transformation of the deceased into their eternal form. Incense was burned during the rituals, filling the air with its sweet, smoky aroma. The scent of the incense was believed to purify the space and guide the soul to the afterlife. Kifi, the special incense used in funerary rituals, was particularly significant. The Egyptians believed that the gods had a sense of smell, and that they appreciated the aroma of incense and oils. But the story of perfume doesn't end with the dead. It continues to influence the living, shaping the culture and history of Egypt for centuries to come. Perfume was used as an offering, a way of inviting the gods to bless the deceased and guide them to the afterlife. The scent of the perfume was seen as a bridge between the mortal and divine realms, a way of ensuring that the soul would be welcomed into eternity. Its complex blend of ingredients created a rich, intoxicating aroma that calmed the soul and prepared it for its journey. Each layer of linen was infused with perfume, creating a sensory experience that was as much about the soul as it was about the body. These substances weren't just gifts, they were tools for the afterlife. These vessels, often made from alabaster or gold, were designed to protect the precious contents inside. The jars were carefully sealed to ensure that the perfume would remain intact for eternity. Imagine opening one of these jars thousands of years later, the scent still lingering, a testament to the skill and devotion of the ancient perfumers. The Egyptians believed that the soul would need perfume to maintain its purity and connect with the gods. Perfume was seen as a way of ensuring that the deceased would be welcomed into the divine realm and granted eternal life. Next, they apply fragrant oils to the skin, massaging them into every inch of the body. These oils aren't just chosen for their aroma, they're selected for their preservative properties, ensuring that the body remains intact for eternity. Perfume was central to this process, serving both practical and spiritual purposes. Imagine the mummification workshop, a space filled with the scent of oils, resins, and spices. The use of perfume in mummification wasn't just about preserving the physical body, it was about protecting the soul. The Egyptians also used fragrant substances to fill the body cavities after the organs were removed. These substances weren't just chosen for their scent, they were selected for their ability to prevent decomposition. Ingredients like cinnamon, cassia, and cedarwood were packed into the body, creating a fragrant interior that would remain intact for centuries. One of the most important substances used in mummification was myrrh. This resin, with its rich, earthy aroma, was prized for its preservative and healing properties. Myrrh was applied to the body to prevent decay, but it also had a symbolic significance. It was associated with immortality, making it the perfect ingredient for preparing the deceased for eternity. Frankincense was another key ingredient, used not only for its purifying properties, but also for its ability to create a divine atmosphere. But the embalming process didn't stop at oils and resin. Once the body was prepared, it was wrapped in linen, often soaked in scented oils, to add another layer of fragrance. Perfume wasn't just used on the body, it was also an essential part of the funerary ceremonies. The tomb itself was often filled with perfumes and fragrant oils, placed alongside the deceased as part of their burial goods. Even the jars used to store perfume in the tomb were works of art. But perfume wasn't just about the deceased, it was also a way of honoring the gods. As you leave the tomb, the scent of perfume lingers in your mind, a reminder of its importance in Egyptian funerary practices. Let us now shift our focus to the legacy of ancient Egyptian perfumeria traditions so deeply rooted in their culture that its influence can still be felt today. From the bustling marketplaces of Thebes to the lavish courts of pharaohs, perfume wasn't just a passing trend, it was a cornerstone of their civilization. And as Egypt's power and culture spread across the ancient world, so too did their mastery of scent. The Egyptians were pioneers in the art of perfumery, and their techniques laid the foundation for the industry as we know it today. The Greeks and Romans, in particular, were fascinated by Egyptian perfumes, importing them in large quantities and even attempting to replicate their recipes. These routes connected Egypt to distant lands like Arabia, India, and Punt, creating a network of exchange that enriched their culture and economy. The perfumes that traveled these routes weren't just commodities, they were symbols of Egypt's influence and sophistication. Cleopatra herself was known for her love of perfume, using it not only as a personal accessory but as a tool of diplomacy and seduction. Their techniques for extracting and blending scents were passed down through generations, influencing the development of perfumery in other cultures. The Greeks and Romans adopted many of their methods, refining them further and creating their own traditions of scent. From the temples to the tombs, from the royal courts to the bustling marketplaces, perfume was everywhere, shaping their culture and defining their identity. And as we continue to explore the history of fragrance, we can't help but marvel at the ingenuity and passion of the Egyptians, who understood the true power of scent long before the rest of the world caught on. The legacy of Egyptian perfumery can be seen in the works of ancient authors like Pliny the Elder and who wrote extensively about the art of fragrance. Somewhere in that bottle is a trace of ancient Egypt, a reminder of a civilization that knew the magic of fragrance better than anyone else. The Egyptians understood that scent was more than a sensory experience. It was a way of connecting to something greater than oneself, whether through religious rituals, funerary practices, or personal adornment. Perfume was a tool for transcending the physical world and reaching the divine. This idea continues to resonate today, reminding us of the power of fragrance to evoke emotions, memories, and even a sense of the sacred. Her legendary beauty was complemented by the intoxicating scents she wore, making her an icon of both style and power. The Arabs, who inherited much of Egypt's cultural legacy, became masters of perfumery in their own right, building on the techniques developed by the Egyptians. The distillation methods perfected by Arab chemists were a direct continuation of the experiments conducted in Egyptian workshops, creating a bridge between ancient and modern perfumery. They were among the first to experiment with extracting scents from plants, using methods like maceration and distillation to create fragrant oils. The use of natural ingredients, the art of blending scents, and the symbolic significance of perfume all trace their roots back to Egypt. Modern perfumers still draw inspiration from the formulas and techniques developed thousands of years ago, creating fragrances that echo the sophistication and elegance of the ancient world. While their tools were rudimentary compared to modern equipment, their results were nothing short of remarkable. The perfumes they created were complex, sophisticated, and enduring, a testament to their ingenuity and skill. One of the most fascinating aspects of Egyptian perfumery was their ability to create scents that lasted for centuries. Archaeologists have discovered jars of perfume in tombs that still retain traces of their original aroma. These discoveries give us a glimpse into the world of ancient perfumery, revealing the ingredients and techniques used by the Egyptians to create their masterpieces. Imagine opening a jar that has been sealed for thousands of years, the scent still lingering, a sensory connection to a civilization long gone. Egypt's reputation as a center of perfumery was so strong that their fragrances became highly sought after by neighboring civilizations. The trade routes established by the Egyptians to import rare ingredients like frankincense and myrrh also played a crucial role in spreading their perfumery techniques. But the Egyptians didn't just export their perfumes, they exported their knowledge. Even after the fall of ancient Egypt, their perfumery traditions continued to thrive. Today, the influence of ancient Egyptian perfumery can be seen in the way we approach fragrance. But perhaps the most enduring legacy of Egyptian perfumery is its connection to spirituality. As you reflect on the journey we've taken through the world of ancient Egyptian perfumes, it is clear that their mastery of scent was more than just an art, it was a way of life. So, the next time you spritz on your favorite perfume, take a moment to think about the history behind it. While the story of ancient Egyptian perfumery has reached a natural conclusion, there are still deeper layers to uncover about its influence, innovations, and cultural significance. Let's delve further into the intricate processes, the global connections, and the personal stories that make this legacy so fascinating. The craft of perfumery, techniques and tools. The Egyptians were meticulous in their approach to perfumery, treating it as both an art and a science. Their methods for extracting scents were surprisingly advanced for their time, relying on techniques that would later influence perfumers across civilizations. These oils were often derived from plants like olive, moringa, or sesame, which served as the base for the perfume. The Egyptians also used animal fats for more luxurious blends, creating bombs that were both fragrant and moisturizing. One of the most common methods was maceration, where flowers, herbs, and spices were soaked in oils to extract their fragrance. From the banks of the Nile to the distant lands connected by trade, the Egyptians sourced their materials with care and intention. Early distillation involved heating aromatic substances and capturing the condensed vapors, a process that required skill and precision. While their equipment was rudimentary, the Egyptians' understanding of heat and pressure allowed them to extract pure, concentrated scents that were unrivaled in their potency. These imports were highly valued, not just for their rarity, but for their association with wealth and prestige. Distillation, though primitive compared to modern techniques, was another method they employed. The wealthy used fragrances to enhance their appearance and assert their social standing, but even the middle class had access to simpler perfumes made from local ingredients. The blending process was equally intricate. Perfumers were skilled artisans who understood the balance of top, middle, and base notes long before these terms were formally defined. Special cones of scented wax were worn on the heads of banquet guests, melting slowly to release their fragrance throughout the evening. This practice wasn't just about smelling good, it was about creating an atmosphere of luxury and celebration. While certain scents were associated with masculinity or femininity, the Egyptians didn't adhere strictly to these categories. Men and women alike wore floral, spicy, and woody fragrances, choosing scents that resonated with them personally. The lotus, in particular, held spiritual significance, symbolizing rebirth and purity. The Arab chemists who perfected distillation techniques owed much to the experiments conducted in Egyptian workshops, bridging the gap between ancient and modern perfumery. Their techniques, ingredients, and philosophy of scent spread across the ancient world, influencing cultures from Greece and Rome to Arabia and beyond. The use of natural ingredients, the art of blending scents, and the symbolic significance of perfume all trace their roots back to Egypt's pioneering perfumers. They combined floral, spicy, and woody scents to create complex fragrances that could evoke emotions, tell stories, and even symbolize the wearer's identity. Their legacy reminds us that perfume is more than just a product, it's an art form, a cultural artifact, and a testament to the power of human creativity. The ingredients, nature's bounty. It was a tool for connecting with the divine, a marker of social status, and a means of whether through the rituals of the temple, the opulence of the royal court, or the intimacy of personal adornment. Perfume was woven into the fabric of Egyptian life. Her signature scent wasn't just a personal preference, it was a tool of seduction and diplomacy, a way of asserting her power and charm in every interaction. The ingredients used in Egyptian perfumes were as diverse as the landscapes they inhabited. Floral notes, lotus flowers, roses, and jasmine were among the most popular ingredients, prized for their delicate and uplifting aromas. Spices and resins, cinnamon, cassia, and myrrh added depth and warmth to the perfumes, while resins like frankincense and benzoin contributed a smoky, mystical quality. Exotic imports. Many ingredients were imported from distant lands, such as the famed land of Punt, which supplied myrrh and frankincense. Perfume in everyday life. While perfume was a symbol of status and spirituality, it also played a role in the daily lives of the Egyptians. Perfume was often applied to the skin, but it was also used to scent clothing, hair, and even homes. Perfume in gender, a tool of expression. Perfume wasn't just a marker of status, it was a form of allowing individuals to convey their personality, mood, and even their gender identity. Cleopatra, for example, was known for her love of complex, intoxicating perfumes that blended floral and spicy notes. Global influence. Egypt's perfumery legacy. The legacy of ancient Egyptian perfumery didn't end with the fall of their civilization. The Greeks and Romans adopted many Egyptian practices, refining them further and creating their own traditions of perfumery. Even today, the influence of ancient Egypt can be seen in the way we approach fragrance. Perfume as a cultural mirror. Ultimately, perfume in ancient Egypt was more than just a luxury, it was a mirror of their culture, reflecting their values, beliefs, and aspirations. As we continue to explore the history of fragrance, we find ourselves returning to Egypt, the cradle of perfumery, where the magic of scent was first understood and celebrated. The spiritual significance of perfume in ancient Egypt. To truly understand the depth of ancient Egyptian perfumery, we must explore its spiritual and religious dimensions. For the Egyptians, perfume was not merely a sensory experience, it was a sacred tool for connecting with the divine and facilitating rituals that bridged the mortal and spiritual realms. Perfume was deeply intertwined with the worship of gods and goddesses. Temples across Egypt were filled with the scent of burning incense, creating an atmosphere of purity and sanctity. For example, Kifi wasn't just a fragrance, it was a ritualistic creation that symbolized harmony and balance. The preparation of Kifi was a sacred act, often performed by priests who recited hymns and prayers during the process. Burning Kifi in temples was believed to calm the gods and invite their blessings, creating a harmonious connection between the divine and the mortal world. Applying perfume was seen as an act of devotion, a way of preparing oneself to interact with the divine. The smoke rising from the incense burners was believed to carry prayers to the heavens, acting as a medium between humans and deities. Tombs were filled with fragrant oils, incense, and scented objects, ensuring that the deceased would be surrounded by purity and beauty on their journey to eternity. This belief elevated perfume to a divine status, making it an essential part of religious ceremonies. One of the most revered substances in Egyptian spirituality was Kifi, a complex incense blend made from ingredients like honey, wine, raisins, myrrh, and frankincense. The sweet, pure aroma of the oils and incense symbolized the soul's readiness to enter the realm of the gods. The Egyptians believed that fragrance had the power to heal both the body and the mind, and they used scented oils and balms as remedies for various ailments. These jars, often made from alabaster or gold, were carefully sealed to ensure that the fragrance would remain intact for eternity. The Egyptians understood that fragrance had a psychological impact, and they used it to create an environment of healing and harmony. The presence of perfume in tombs wasn't just a practical choice, it was a spiritual necessity, a way of ensuring that the deceased would be welcomed into the divine realm. This belief was reflected in the meticulous preparation of the body during mummification, where fragrant substances were used to preserve the physical form and purify the spirit. And medicinal dimensions. It becomes clear that this tradition was more than just a cultural practice, it was a reflection of their worldview. Perfume was a bridge between the physical and spiritual realms, a tool for expressing identity, and a testament to the ingenuity of their civilization. Frankincense was used to treat respiratory issues, while cinnamon and cassia were believed to boost circulation and energy. The use of natural ingredients, the art of blending scents, and the symbolic significance of perfume all trace their roots back to Egypt. Perfume remains a powerful tool for spirituality and connection, a reminder of the magic that the Egyptians understood so well. Perfumed oils were applied to the skin to soothe aches and pains, while incense was burned to calm the mind and promote relaxation. Their story reminds us that perfume is more than just a luxury, it's an art, a science, and a way of understanding the world. Specific gods were associated with particular scents, further emphasizing the spiritual significance of perfume. Hathor, the goddess of love, beauty, and joy, was closely linked to floral fragrances like lotus and rose. Perfume dedicated to Hathor was used in rituals celebrating love, fertility, and femininity. Ra, the sun god, was honored with scents like frankincense and myrrh, which symbolized strength, power, and immortality. These fragrances were burned at sunrise as offerings to Ra, marking the beginning of a new day. Osiris, the god of the afterlife, was associated with earthy, resinous scents like cedarwood and myrrh. Perfumes dedicated to Osiris were used in funerary rites to guide the soul to the afterlife. Perfume also played a role in personal spirituality. Individuals used scented oils and incense in their daily rituals, believing that fragrance could purify their bodies and souls. Tombs and perfume, a fragrant journey to eternity. The connection between perfume and the afterlife was one of the most profound aspects of Egyptian culture. Perfume was believed to protect the soul from malevolent forces and guide it safely to the afterlife. Even the jars used to store perfumes in tombs were works of art, designed to honor the deceased and protect the precious contents inside. Perfume and medicine. healing through fragrance beyond its spiritual and aesthetic value. Perfume also played a role in ancient Egyptian medicine. For example, myrrh was prized for its antiseptic and anti-inflammatory properties, making it a popular ingredient in medicinal preparations. The connection between perfume and medicine was rooted in the idea that scent could influence the body's energy and balance. The legacy of Egyptian perfumery. As we trace the journey of ancient Egyptian perfumery through its spiritual, social. Today, the legacy of Egyptian perfumery continues to inspire modern fragrance makers. As we breathe in the fragrances of our own time, we are connected to the past, to a civilization that knew the true power of scent. Perfume as a symbol of power and prestige in ancient Egypt. Perfume was not only a spiritual and personal accessory, it was also a symbol of power and prestige. The ability to afford rare and exotic fragrances signified wealth, influence, and social status. They were often depicted in artwork and hieroglyphs holding incense burners, symbolizing their role as intermediaries between the gods and humanity. Perfume was an essential part of royal ceremonies, from coronations to religious festivals, and its use was carefully choreographed to emphasize the ruler's divine authority. For the ruling elite, perfume was a demonstration of their connection to the divine. Their mastery of luxury, her mastery of scent was legendary, and she used it to create an unforgettable presence wherever she went. Historical accounts describe how she scented the sails of her ships with exotic perfumes, creating an intoxicating cloud that announced her arrival before she was even seen. Their craft was a blend of art and science, requiring a deep understanding of ingredients, blending techniques, and the symbolic meanings of different scents. These perfumes were not only luxurious but symbolic, designed to reflect the ruler's divine status and personal identity. The creation of such fragrances was a collaborative effort involving priests, botanists, and chemists who worked together to source the finest ingredients and perfect the formulas. Recipes for perfumes were closely guarded secrets, passed down through generations and often considered sacred knowledge. This use of fragrance wasn't just about personal allure, it was a calculated strategy to assert her power and captivate her allies and enemies alike. Egypt's strategic location at the crossroads of Africa, Asia, and the Mediterranean allowed them to import rare and exotic ingredients from distant lands, and their ability to access the finest resources from across the known world. The Egyptians' focus on natural ingredients, their understanding of scent as a symbol of identity and spirituality, and their mastery of blending techniques laid the foundation for the perfumery industry as we know it today. These resins were highly prized for their spiritual and medicinal properties, and Egyptian expeditions to Punt were undertaken specifically to secure them. The art of storytelling through scent, practice perfected by the Egyptians, remains a cornerstone of contemporary perfumery. Their belief in the healing power of scent resonates in today's wellness practices, where essential oils and incense are used to promote relaxation, balance, and spiritual connection. Each bottle of perfume is a narrative, a journey that connects the wearer to emotions, memories, and even the divine. As we continue to explore the history of fragrance, we find ourselves returning to Egypt, the birthplace of perfumery, where the magic of scent was first understood and celebrated. Egyptian fragrances were considered the gold standard, admired for their complexity and longevity. The demand for Egyptian perfumes was so high that imitations began to appear in foreign markets, though these copies rarely matched the quality of the originals. The trade routes connecting Egypt to Arabia, India, and the Levant brought ingredients like cinnamon, cassia, and spikenard, enriching the diversities of Egyptian perfumes. Wealthy Egyptians scented their linens with fragrant oils and burned incense in their rooms to create an atmosphere of opulence. Their legacy lives on, not just in the formulas and techniques they pioneered, but in the way we continue to use scent to tell stories, evoke emotions, and transcend the ordinary. Perfume cones worn on the heads of banquet guests melted slowly, releasing their fragrance throughout the evening, a practice reserved for the upper class who could afford such luxuries. The pharaohs, considered living gods, used perfume to reinforce their divine status. Cleopatra, arguably Egypt's most famous ruler, turned the art of perfumery into a political tool. The elite's obsession with perfume extended to their homes, clothing, and even their pets. The role of perfumers in society. The craft of perfumery was highly respected in ancient Egypt, and perfumers were considered skilled artisans with unique knowledge. These individuals were responsible for creating the fragrances that adorned the elite, purified temples, and accompanied the deceased to the afterlife. Perfumers worked in specialized workshops, often located near temples or royal palaces. The most skilled perfumers were employed by the royal court, tasked with creating exclusive fragrances for the pharaoh and his family. Perfume and trade. Egypt's global influence. The global influence of ancient Egyptian perfumery was largely driven by their extensive trade networks. The land of Punt, often referred to as the source of frankincense and myrrh, played a crucial role in Egypt's perfumery tradition. Perfume was one of Egypt's most valuable exports, sought after by neighboring civilizations like the Greeks and Romans. Modern echoes. The enduring legacy of Egyptian perfume. As we reflect on the legacy of ancient Egyptian perfumery, it's clear that their innovations and philosophies continue to shape the modern world of fragrance. Modern perfumers still draw inspiration from ancient Egypt, incorporating ingredients like lotus, frankincense, and myrrh into their creations. Beyond the world of fragrance, the Egyptians' approach to perfume has influenced other industries, from aromatherapy to cosmetics. A timeless connection. The story of ancient Egyptian perfumery is more than just a historical account. It's a testament to the enduring power of scent to define cultures, express identity, and connect us to something greater than ourselves. In every spritz of perfume, in every waft of incense, there is a trace of ancient Egypt, a reminder of a civilization that knew the true power of fragrance. Perfume in art and literature. The influence of perfume in ancient Egypt extended beyond its practical and spiritual uses. It was also celebrated in art, literature, and cultural expression. Fragrance was seen as a divine gift, and its presence in artistic works reflected its importance in Egyptian society. These images weren't just decorative, they were symbolic, representing the connection between fragrance, purity, and divine favor. Hieroglyphs and tomb paintings often depicted scenes of perfumery, showing individuals pouring oils, burning incense, and adorning themselves with scented bombs. Perfume also found its way into Egyptian poetry and hymns. Writers praised the beauty and power of fragrance, describing its ability to evoke emotions, transport the soul, and honor the gods. For example, hymns dedicated to Hathor often included references to the sweet scent of lotus flowers, emphasizing her role as the goddess of love and beauty. One notable piece of literature is the Ibers Papyrus, an ancient medical text that includes recipes for scented oils and balms. They used heat to release the aromatic compounds from flowers and spices, capturing the essence of these materials in oil or fat. While their equipment was simple, their techniques were remarkably effective, influencing the development of distillation methods in later civilizations. Through trade and diplomacy, Egyptian fragrances traveled far and wide, influencing the perfumery traditions of neighboring civilizations. By combining ingredients with stabilizing agents like resins and oils, they ensured that their perfumes retained their potency over time. The fusion of Egyptian and Arabian perfumery traditions laid the foundation for the global fragrance industry, blending ancient wisdom with new discoveries. Greek philosophers like Theophrastus wrote extensively about the art of fragrance, drawing on knowledge from Egyptian sources. Traditional practices like burning incense and using scented oils remained popular, connecting contemporary Egyptians to their cultural heritage. Roman emperors imported Egyptian perfumes for their personal use, considering them symbols of luxury and refinement. These fragrances pay homage to the legacy of ancient Egypt, while appealing to modern tastes. This ability to preserve scent was highly valued, especially in funerary practices where perfumes needed to endure for eternity. This document highlights the Egyptians' understanding of the therapeutic properties of fragrance, blending science with art in their approach to perfumery. Their legacy lives on in every bottle of perfume, every waft of incense, and every story told through fragrance, a testament to the enduring connection between scent and humanity. The science of fragrance. Early chemistry. From the temples of the gods to the courts of pharaohs, perfume was more than a commodity. It was a cultural treasure, a spiritual tool, and a testament to human creativity. The Egyptians were pioneers in the science of fragrance, laying the groundwork for modern chemistry. Their experiments with extraction, distillation, and blending demonstrated a sophisticated understanding of natural materials and their properties. Perfume shops in cities like Cairo and Luxor offer blends inspired by ancient recipes, allowing visitors to experience a piece of Egypt's perfumery tradition. One of their most impressive achievements was the creation of long-lasting fragrances. The Egyptians also understood the importance of temperature and pressure in the extraction process. Perfume as a cultural bridge. Ancient Egyptian perfumery wasn't just a local phenomena, was a cultural bridge that connected Egypt to the rest of the world. The Greeks and Romans were particularly inspired by Egyptian perfumery, adopting many of their techniques and ingredients. Arabian perfumers also benefited from Egyptian innovations, refining distillation techniques and creating new blends that combined local ingredients with Egyptian imports. Perfume in modern Egypt. While ancient Egyptian perfumery is often seen as a historical phenomenon, its influence can still be felt in modern Egypt. Many modern Egyptian perfumers draw inspiration from ancient formulas, incorporating ingredients like lotus, myrrh, and frankincense into their creations. Tourists visiting Egypt often seek out perfumes and incense as souvenirs, drawn to the mystique of the country's fragrant history, the eternal allure of Egyptian perfume. As we conclude this exploration of ancient Egyptian perfumery, one thing becomes clear. The allure of Egyptian fragrance is timeless. Even today, the magic of Egyptian perfume continues to captivate us, reminding us of a civilization that understood the true power of scent. Perfume in rituals of love and seduction in ancient Egypt. Perfume was not only a tool for spiritual connection and social status, it was also an intimate accessory used in rituals of love and seduction. The Egyptians understood the profound ability of fragrance to evoke emotions, stimulate desire, and create lasting impressions. These fragrances were carefully chosen to reflect the wearer's personality and mood, creating a sensory experience that went beyond physical appearance. Historical accounts describe how she used fragrance as part of her charm, creating an irresistible aura that captivated Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. Her mastery of scent wasn't just about personal attraction, it was a strategic tool for diplomacy and power. Floral scents like lotus and jasmine symbolized femininity and romance, while spicy notes like cinnamon and myrrh conveyed passion and intensity. Perfume was often used to enhance personal allure, with both men and women adorning themselves with scented oils and bombs. These containers were not only functional but symbolic, representing the purity and sanctity of the fragrance inside. Wealthy individuals commissioned custom jars adorned with jewels and precious metals, while simpler containers were used by the middle class. Regardless of their material, these jars were treated with care and reverence, emphasizing the cultural importance of perfume. The act of applying perfume was often accompanied by rituals that heightened its impact, creating a moment of mindfulness and connection. Some jars were shaped like lotus flowers or animals, adding an artistic touch that celebrated the natural world. The connection between perfume and seduction is most famously illustrated in the story of Cleopatra. These chants reinforced the spiritual significance of fragrance, creating an atmosphere of harmony and reverence. Couples exchanged scented gifts as tokens of affection, and weddings were often accompanied by the burning of incense to bless the union. The tactile sensation of applying scented oils to the skin added another layer of intimacy, allowing the wearer to feel the fragrance as well as smell it. These practices highlight the emotional and symbolic significance of fragrance in Egyptian culture, where perfume was seen as an expression of love and harmony. Fragrance enthusiasts and historians alike are drawn to the mystique of Egypt's scented past, exploring its secrets and celebrating its enduring influence. However, the legacy of Egyptian perfume was never truly lost. It continued to influence civilizations across the ancient world, preserving its essence in new forms. From the temples of the gods to the hearts of lovers, perfume was woven into the fabric of Egyptian life, reflecting their values, beliefs, and aspirations, reminding us of a civilization that understood the true magic of fragrance. Their mastery of scent was more than a skill, it was a philosophy, a way of life, and a celebration of the senses. This holistic approach to fragrance reflects their deep understanding of its emotional and spiritual power. Their story lives on in every bottle, every incense burner, and every waft of scent, a reminder of the enduring connection between fragrance and humanity. Perfume also played a role in romantic rituals and celebrations. The art of packaging, crafting beauty inside and out. Perfume containers were designed to be works of art, reflecting the value and beauty of their contents. The Egyptians understood that the presentation of perfume was as important as the fragrance itself. These discoveries reignited interest in Egyptian fragrances, inspiring modern perfumers to incorporate elements of their tradition into contemporary creations. Perfume jars were often made from luxurious materials like alabaster, gold, and faience, decorated with intricate carvings and painted designs. The design of perfume containers also reflected the social status of the owner. Perfume and essences, a multi-sensory experience. For the Egyptians, perfume was more than just a scent. It was a multi-sensory experience that engaged the mind, body, and spirit. Visual elements played a role in the experience of perfume, from the beauty of the containers to the sight of incense smoke rising in the air. Sound was also part of the experience, with hymns and prayers often recited during the preparation and application of perfume. By engaging multiple senses, the Egyptians elevated perfume to an art form that went beyond its physical properties. The decline and rediscovery of Egyptian perfumery. The fall of ancient Egypt marked the decline of its perfumery tradition, as foreign powers took control and introduced new cultural practices. During the Renaissance, scholars and explorers rediscovered the art of Egyptian perfumery, studying ancient texts and artifacts to learn about their techniques and ingredients. Today, the rediscovery of Egyptian perfumery is celebrated in museums, books, and exhibitions that honor its history and impact. Conclusion: the timeless power of perfume. The story of ancient Egyptian perfumery is a testament to the timeless power of scent to define culture, express identity, and connect us to something greater than ourselves. Even today, the legacy of Egyptian perfume continues to inspire and captivate us. As we breathe in the fragrances of our own time, we are connected to the past, to a culture that first understood the art of perfumery. Perfume and gender in ancient Egypt. In ancient Egypt, perfume transcended gender boundaries and was embraced by both men and women as a vital part of daily life. Unlike many later cultures, the Egyptians did not associate fragrance exclusively with femininity. Instead, they viewed perfume as a universal expression of beauty, spirituality, and status. Scents like cedarwood, frankincense, and myrrh were popular among men, reflecting their connection to the earth and their role as protectors and leaders. Warriors and officials used perfume to enhance their presence, projecting authority and confidence through scent. Men applied scented oils to their skin and hair, often choosing fragrances that symbolized strength, power, and masculinity. Lotus, jasmine, and rose were among the most cherished scents, often associated with Hathor, the goddess of love and beauty. Perfume was seen as a tool for purification and connection to the divine, making it accessible to all regardless of gender. This inclusive approach highlights the Egyptians' understanding of fragrance as a universal language of the senses. Perfume was used to anoint statues, offerings, and participants, creating a fragrant connection between the living and the deceased. Families burned incense and applied scented oils to mark these milestones, using fragrance to express love, gratitude, and hope for the future. The sweet aroma of lotus and other floral scents symbolized rebirth and eternal life, reinforcing the spiritual significance of the event. Perfume was an essential part of a woman's beauty routine, used to adorn the skin, hair, and clothing. During this festival, priests carried statues of Amun through the streets, accompanied by music, dancing, and the burning of incense. The air was filled with the scent of frankincense and myrrh, symbolizing the presence of the divine and the purification of the city. Perfume was seen as a tool for maintaining balance in the world, reflecting the concept of Mat, the principle of truth, order, and justice. Women, on the other hand, favored floral and sweet fragrances that emphasized their femininity, grace, and sensuality. The presence of perfume in funerary practices symbolized the continuity of memory, ensuring that the soul would carry its identity and experiences into the afterlife. Couples exchanged fragrances as gifts, using scent to symbolize their bond and create shared memories. The emotional significance of perfume is evident in the care with which the Egyptians chose and applied their fragrances, treating them as treasures that carried their stories and identities. These efforts have led to the revival of scents like Kifi, offering a glimpse into the aromatic world of ancient Egypt. However, the full depth of their perfumery tradition remains elusive, leaving us with questions about the ingredients, processes, and meanings behind their creations. Priests and perfumers approached their craft with reverence, treating the ingredients and processes as sacred acts. By adorning themselves with fragrance, individuals demonstrated their commitment to purity and their connection to the divine. Their mastery of fragrance reminds us of the power of the senses to transcend time, bridging the past and present through the magic of scent. Scholars continue to study ancient texts, artifacts, and tombs to uncover the secrets of their formulas and techniques. We honor the legacy of ancient Egypt, a civilization that understood the true art of perfumery and celebrated its ability to connect us to the divine, the earthly, and the eternal. The complexity of Egyptian perfumes, combined with the symbolic and spiritual dimensions of their use, makes this field a fascinating area of research. As we continue to explore their legacy, we are drawn to the magic of their fragrances, a testament to the timeless connection between scent and humanity. This ethical approach to perfume highlights the Egyptians' deep understanding of scent as more than a sensory experience. It was a reflection of their values and beliefs. The blending of fragrances was often accompanied by prayers and hymns, reinforcing the spiritual significance of the work. Despite these preferences, there was significant overlap in the fragrances used by men and women. Perfume and festivals, celebrating with scent, it reflects the Egyptians' deep understanding of fragrance as a tool for connection, expression, and transformation. From the temples of the gods to the hearts of lovers, perfume was woven into the fabric of their culture, shaping their rituals, values, and identities. These events often involved large gatherings, with participants adorning themselves with scented oils and burning incense to honor the gods and mark special occasions. Fragrance was seen as a tool for storytelling, capable of capturing the essence of a moment and preserving it for eternity. Perfume played a central role in Egyptian festivals and celebrations, where fragrance was used to create an atmosphere of joy, reverence, and unity. One of the most famous festivals was the Feast of Opet, a celebration dedicated to Ammon, the king of the gods. Another significant festival was the beautiful Feast of the Valley, held to honor the dead and celebrate the renewal of life. Perfume was also a part of personal celebrations, such as weddings and birthdays. The ethical dimension of perfume for the Egyptians. The use of perfume was not just a matter of luxury or aesthetics, it carried an ethical dimension rooted in their values of purity, harmony, and respect for the divine. The preparation and use of perfume were governed by rituals and guidelines designed to ensure its sanctity. Even in daily life, the application of perfume was seen as an act of respect and perfume as memory. The emotional power of scent. The Egyptians understood the emotional power of scent, using perfume to evoke memories, express feelings, and create lasting impressions. Tombs filled with scented oils and incense reflect this belief, offering the deceased a fragrant connection to their earthly life. Perfume also played a role in personal relationships, where scent was used to create intimate connections and express love. The eternal mystery of Egyptian perfume. Despite our extensive knowledge of ancient Egyptian perfumery, many mysteries remain. Modern scientists have attempted to recreate Egyptian fragrances using historical recipes and advanced technology. This enduring mystery adds to the allure of Egyptian perfume, reminding us of the sophistication and creativity of their civilization. Conclusion: a fragrant legacy. The story of ancient Egyptian perfumery is one of innovation, spirituality, and artistry. Today, the legacy of Egyptian perfume continues to inspire and captivate us, offering a window into a world where scent was seen as a divine gift. As we breathe in the fragrances of our own time, the rediscovery of ancient Egyptian perfume recipes. One of the most fascinating aspects of ancient Egyptian perfumery is the rediscovery of their recipes and techniques. Over the centuries, archaeologists and historians have uncovered texts, artifacts, and tombs that provide clues about how the Egyptians created their legendary fragrances. The Ebers Papyrus and other medical texts offer detailed descriptions of ingredients and methods used in perfumery. These documents reveal the Egyptians' deep knowledge of plants, resins, and oils, as well as their ability to blend these materials into complex and harmonious fragrances. This fragrance, known as Mendesian, combined myrrh, cardamom, and cinnamon with hints of mint and resin, creating a rich and intoxicating scent that reflected Cleopatra's legendary allure. Ingredients like myrrh, frankincense, cinnamon, and lotus were staples of their formulas, combined with stabilizers like honey and wine to preserve their potency. Tomb discoveries have also shed light on Egyptian perfumery. Jars and containers filled with traces of ancient oils and balms provide valuable insights into the composition of their fragrances. These formulas were used to heal wounds, soothe skin conditions, and alleviate pain. The Egyptians believed that scent could purify the soul and restore balance to the body, making it an integral part of rituals designed to promote health and well-being. Priests often burned incense during healing ceremonies, using fragrance to create an atmosphere of harmony and connection to the divine. Ingredients like frankincense and myrrh were prized for their antiseptic and anti-inflammatory properties, while floral oils like lotus and jasmine were used to calm the mind and promote relaxation. Their use of perfume as a therapeutic tool reflects their belief in the power of scent to heal and transform. Modern scientists have analyzed these residues using advanced techniques like gas chromatography and mass spectrometry, identifying the chemical compounds and recreating the scents. The Egyptians understood the therapeutic properties of fragrance, using scented oils and balms to treat physical and emotional ailments. The Egyptians believed that scent could purify and protect the deceased, creating a fragrant connection between the earthly and divine realms. One of the most famous examples is the recreation of Cleopatra's perfume, based on residue found in a perfume factory believed to have been used during her reign. The Egyptians' mastery of scent laid the foundation for the global perfumery industry, shaping the way we create and experience fragrance today. These fragrances pay homage to the artistry and spirituality of Egyptian perfumery, blending ancient wisdom with contemporary techniques. These fragrances symbolize purification and renewal, ensuring that the deceased would be welcomed into the afterlife. Museums and exhibitions dedicated to ancient Egypt often include displays of perfume jars, incense burners, and other artifacts, offering visitors a glimpse into the aromatic world of this civilization. These fragrances were carefully chosen to reflect his status as a pharaoh and his connection to the gods, emphasizing the spiritual significance of perfume in funerary rituals. It reminds us of a time when fragrance was more than a commodity. It was a cultural treasure, a spiritual tool, and a testament to human creativity. Tombs were filled with jars of perfume and incense, offering the soul a fragrant path to eternity. Their mastery of fragrance continues to inspire us, offering a timeless reminder of the power of scent to connect us to the divine, the earthly, and the eternal. For the Egyptians, perfume was more than a luxury. It was a reflection of their values, beliefs, and aspirations. The role of perfume in medicine. Perfume was not just a luxury in ancient Egypt, it was also an essential part of their medical practices. Incense was burned in temples and tombs to honor the divine and create a sacred atmosphere. The sweet aroma of frankincense and myrrh symbolized the presence of the gods, reinforcing the connection between fragrance and spirituality. The Ebers papyrus includes numerous recipes for medicinal balms and ointments infused with aromatic ingredients. Perfume also played a role in mental and spiritual healing. This holistic approach to medicine highlights the Egyptians' understanding of the connection between the senses, emotions, and physical health. Perfume and the afterlife. Perfume was deeply intertwined with Egyptian beliefs about the afterlife, where fragrance played a crucial role in ensuring the soul's journey to eternity. Funerary practices often included the use of scented oils and incense to prepare the body for burial. One of the most famous examples is the burial of Tutankhamun, whose tomb contained numerous jars of scented oils and balms. Perfume also played a role in the offerings made to the gods and the deceased. Perfume as a cultural legacy. The legacy of ancient Egyptian perfumery extends beyond its historical significance, continues to influence modern culture, and inspire new generations of fragrance enthusiasts. Modern perfumers often draw inspiration from Egyptian formulas, incorporating ingredients like lotus, frankincense, and myrrh into their creations. Egyptian perfume also remains a source of fascination for historians, archaeologists, and scientists who continue to study its secrets. The enduring appeal of Egyptian perfume reflects our fascination with its beauty, mystery, and significance. Conclusion: the fragrant soul of ancient Egypt. As we conclude this journey through the world of ancient Egyptian perfumery, we are reminded of the profound connection between scent and humanity. From the temples of the gods to the tombs of the pharaohs, perfume was woven into the fabric of their culture, shaping their rituals, identities, and legacies. In every bottle of perfume, in every waft of incense, there is a trace of ancient Egypt, civilization that understood the magic of fragrance and celebrated its ability to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. Perfume and social hierarchy in ancient Egypt. In ancient Egypt, perfume was not merely a sensory pleasure, it was also a marker of social hierarchy and status. The use and possession of fragrance were deeply intertwined with one's position in society, reflecting wealth, power, and privilege. The pharaohs and the elite had access to the finest and most luxurious perfumes, crafted from rare and expensive ingredients imported from distant lands. As custodians of temples and rituals, they were responsible for preparing and using incense and scented oils to honor the gods. Perfumes used in religious ceremonies were considered sacred, and their preparation was governed by strict guidelines to ensure purity and sanctity. These fragrances were often blended by skilled perfumers who worked exclusively for the royal court, ensuring that the ruler's scents were unique and unmatched. Perfume was a symbol of divine favor and authority, reinforcing the pharaoh's role as a mediator between the gods and the people. Priests also held a special status in the world of perfumery. Their mastery of perfumery made Egyptian scents highly sought after, establishing them as a valuable commodity in international markets. The Greeks and Romans were particularly enamored with Egyptian fragrances, incorporating them into their own perfumery traditions. Greek philosophers like Theophrastus wrote extensively about Egyptian perfumes, praising their complexity and artistry, where scent was not only a sensory experience, but also a reflection of social identity and aspiration. This fusion of traditions laid the foundation for the global fragrance industry, blending ancient wisdom with new discoveries. For the middle class, perfume was accessible, but less extravagant. Fragrance was not just a cultural treasure, it was also a strategic asset that connected Egypt to the wider world, reinforcing its status as a center of innovation and artistry. The revival of Kifi offers a glimpse into the aromatic world of ancient Egypt, allowing us to experience the scents that shaped their culture and spirituality. These fragrances pay homage to the artistry and innovation of Egyptian perfumery, blending historical knowledge with contemporary techniques. As we unlock the secrets of their fragrances, we are reminded of the timeless connection between scent and humanity, a connection that transcends time and space. Advances in chemistry and archaeology have allowed researchers to analyze ancient residues and recreate the fragrances that once filled the temples and palaces of Egypt. They used locally available ingredients to create simpler fragrances, often inspired by the formulas used by the elite. Museums and exhibitions dedicated to ancient Egypt often include displays of perfume jars, incense burners, and other artifacts, celebrating the artistry and significance of their perfumery tradition. The story of Cleopatra's perfume, for example, has become a symbol of power and seduction, reinforcing the cultural significance of fragrance in Egyptian history. From the temples of the gods to the tombs of the pharaohs, fragrance was woven into the fabric of their culture, shaping their rituals, identities, and legacies. Using techniques like gas, chromatography, and mass spectrometry, scientists have identified the chemical compounds in these residues, revealing the ingredients and formulas used by ancient perfumers. Despite these limitations, fragrance was still appreciated as a tool for purification and connection to the divine, reflecting the Egyptians' inclusive approach to perfumery. Perfume was still considered a valuable commodity, and its use was a sign of refinement and respectability. The lower classes had limited access to perfume, relying on natural scents from flowers and herbs to enhance their personal hygiene and daily lives. This stratification of perfume use highlights the cultural importance of fragrance in ancient Egypt. It reflects the Egyptians' deep understanding of fragrance as a tool for connection, expression, and transformation. From the temples of the gods to the hearts of lovers, perfume was woven into the fabric of their culture, shaping their rituals, values, and identities. Perfume and trade. The global influence of Egyptian fragrance. The Egyptians were pioneers in the global trade of perfume, exporting their fragrances and techniques to neighboring civilizations. Egyptian perfumes were exported to the Mediterranean, the Middle East, and beyond, carried by traders who recognized their value and appeal. Arabian perfumers also benefited from Egyptian innovations, refining distillation techniques and creating new blends that combined local ingredients with Egyptian imports. The trade of perfume also strengthened Egypt's economy, contributing to its wealth and influence as a leading civilization. Perfume and modern science. Unlocking ancient secrets. Modern science has played a crucial role in uncovering the secrets of ancient Egyptian perfumery. One of the most significant breakthroughs came from the study of tomb artifacts, where traces of scented oils and bombs provided valuable insights into the composition of Egyptian perfumes. These discoveries have led to the recreation of iconic fragrances like Kit, a complex blend of honey, wine, resins, and spices used in religious ceremonies. Modern perfumers have also drawn inspiration from Egyptian formulas, incorporating ancient ingredients like lotus, frankincense, and myrrh into their creations. The study of Egyptian perfumes continues to captivate scientists and historians, offering new insights into the culture and values of this ancient civilization. Perfume as a cultural symbol. Perfume remains one of the most enduring symbols of ancient Egypt, reflecting the sophistication, spirituality, and creativity of its people. Today, the legacy of Egyptian perfume continues to inspire and captivate us, offering a window into a world where scent was seen as a divine gift. Egyptian perfume also holds a special place in popular culture, appearing in films, books, and art that explore the mystique and allure of this ancient civilization. As we breathe in the fragrances of our own time, we honor the legacy of ancient Egypt, civilization that understood the true art of perfumery and celebrated its ability to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. Conclusion: the fragrant legacy lives on. The story of ancient Egyptian perfumery is one of innovation, spirituality, and artistry. Today, the legacy of Egyptian perfume continues to inspire and captivate us, offering a timeless reminder of the power of scent to connect us to the divine, the earthly, and the eternal. In every bottle of perfume, in every waft of incense, there is a trace of ancient Egypto civilization that understood the magic of fragrance and celebrated its ability to transcend time and space. Perfume in Egyptian mythology and symbolism. Perfume held profound significance in ancient Egyptian mythology and was often associated with the gods, creation, and the cosmic order. The Egyptians believed that fragrance was a divine gift, a physical manifestation of the gods' presence and blessings. Hathor was often depicted as the patroness of perfumery, and her temples were filled with the scent of incense and floral oils. According to legend, when Osiris was resurrected, his body was anointed with fragrant oils, symbolizing purification and renewal. This act reinforced the connection between perfume and rebirth, making fragrance an essential part of funerary practices and beliefs about the afterlife. Fragrance was used in rituals dedicated to her, symbolizing her nurturing and protective qualities. Perfume was not merely a material substance, it was imbued with spiritual meaning and symbolic power. Flowers, resins, spices, and oils were gathered from local sources or imported from distant lands. Reflecting the Egyptians' extensive trade networks and knowledge of natural materials, perfumers often worked in temple workshops where their creations were used in religious ceremonies and offerings to the gods. One of the most prominent connections between perfume and mythology is the association with Hathor, the goddess of love, beauty, and joy. These recipes reflected the Egyptians' mastery of fragrance, combining technical skill with artistic creativity to produce scents that were both beautiful and meaningful. Perfumers were highly skilled artisans who approached their craft with reverence, treating the preparation of fragrance as a sacred act. These vessels were often adorned with symbols and motifs that reflected the cultural and spiritual significance of their contents. These materials are prized for their rich aromas and historical significance, offering a connection to the ancient world. Today, many perfumers strive to create scents that evoke emotions, tell stories, and create meaningful experiences. Reflecting the values and artistry of ancient Egypt, perfume also played a role in the myth of Osiris, the god of the afterlife. The Egyptians also associated specific scents with cosmic elements and forces. For example, the sweet aroma of lotus was linked to the Nile. Their mastery of scent reflects their deep understanding of the human experience, where fragrance was seen as a bridge between the earthly and divine realms. The fragrances of ancient Egypt offer a window into their world, allowing us to experience their values, beliefs, and aspirations through the magic of scent. These recreations serve as a testament to the enduring appeal of Egyptian perfumery, bridging the past and present through the magic of scent and its life-giving properties. While the smoky scent of frankincense was seen as a bridge between the earthly and divine realms, these associations highlight the Egyptians' understanding of perfume as a tool for connecting with the natural and spiritual worlds. Their mastery of fragrance continues to inspire us, offering a timeless reminder of the power of scent to connect us to the divine, the earthly, and the eternal. Perfume was more than a luxury, it was a reflection of the Egyptian spirituality, creativity, and mastery of the senses. Perfume was not just a sensory experience, it was a language of the senses, capable of expressing identity, emotion, and spirituality. The rituals of perfume creation. The creation of perfume in ancient Egypt was a deeply ritualistic process, guided by spiritual principles and cultural traditions. The process began with the selection of ingredients, which were chosen based on their symbolic and sensory qualities. The blending of these ingredients was accompanied by prayers and hymns, emphasizing the spiritual significance of the work. Perfume formulas were closely guarded secrets, passed down through generations of perfumers and priests. The final product was stored in intricately designed jars and containers, which were treated with the same care and reverence as the perfume itself. The legacy of Egyptian perfume in modern perfume. The influence of ancient Egyptian perfumery can still be seen in modern fragrance traditions, where the ingredients, techniques, and philosophies of the Egyptians continue to inspire contemporary creations. Many of the ingredients used in Egyptian perfumes, such as frankincense, myrrh, and lotus, remain staples of modern perfumery. The Egyptians' holistic approach to fragrance, viewing it as a tool for connection and transformation, has also influenced modern perfumery. The revival of ancient formulas, such as Kifi and Mendesian, has brought the scents of Egypt back to life, allowing us to experience the fragrances that shaped their culture and spirituality. Perfume as a universal language. The story of ancient Egyptian perfumery demonstrates the universal power of fragrance to connect people across time, space, and culture. For the Egyptians, perfume was a tool for communication, used to honor the gods, celebrate life, and preserve memory. Today, the legacy of Egyptian perfume continues to inspire us, reminding us of the timeless connection between scent and humanity. Conclusion: a timeless connection. As we explore the fragrant world of ancient Egypt, we are reminded of the profound connection between scent and culture. From the temples of the gods to the tombs of the pharaohs, perfume was woven into the fabric of their lives, shaping their rituals, identities, and legacies. In every bottle of perfume, in every waft of incense, there is a trace of ancient civilization that understood the magic of fragrance and celebrated its ability to transcend time and space. Perfume in Egyptian art and literature. Perfume was not only a physical presence in ancient Egypt, it was also celebrated in their art and literature, where it was depicted as a symbol of beauty, divinity, and cultural sophistication. Paintings and carvings frequently depict individuals applying scented oils or priests offering incense to the gods. These images highlight the importance of fragrance in their culture, portraying it as an essential element of beauty, spirituality, and social interaction. The Egyptians expressed their love for fragrance through visual and written mediums, immortalizing its significance in their creative works. These vessels were intricately designed, often featuring motifs of lotus flowers, gods, and hieroglyphic inscriptions. Their beauty reflected the value of their contents, emphasizing the cultural significance of fragrance. In Egyptian art, perfume is often represented as part of daily life and religious rituals. Perfume jars and containers were also works of art, crafted from materials like alabaster, gold, and faience. In literature, perfume was celebrated in hymns, poems, and stories that praised its sensory and symbolic qualities. These plants were grown in carefully managed gardens, often located near temples and palaces, where they were treated as sacred resources. They valued these materials for their spiritual and sensory qualities, using them sparingly and with reverence. Their use of fragrance was not only a sensory experience, it was also a reflection of their values and beliefs, where harmony with nature was seen as essential to spiritual and cultural life. Texts dedicated to the gods often described the sweet aroma of incense as a sign of their presence, while love poems used fragrance as a metaphor for desire and connection. One famous example is the hymn to Nefertari, which describes the queen's beauty and grace using imagery of perfume. These cultures adopted Egyptian ingredients and techniques, blending them with their own practices to create new and innovative fragrances. The Egyptians' mastery of scent made their perfumes highly sought after, establishing them as a valuable commodity in international markets. Her scent is like the fragrance of lotus flowers. Her skin shines brighter than gold. For the Egyptians, perfume was more than a sensory experience. It was a tool for preserving memory, expressing identity, and connecting with the divine. This understanding of scent as a symbol of continuity and transformation highlights the Egyptians' deep appreciation for its power and meaning. Their mastery of perfumery remains a testament to their creativity, spirituality, and cultural sophistication, a legacy that transcends time and space. These artistic and literary depictions of perfume demonstrate the Egyptians' deep appreciation for fragrance as a source of inspiration and expression. It reflects their deep understanding of fragrance as a tool for connection, expression, and transformation. From the temples of the gods to the hearts of lovers, perfume was woven into the fabric of their culture, shaping their rituals, values, and identities. They remind us of the timeless connection between scent and creativity, where fragrance becomes a language of beauty and meaning. Perfume and the environment. Sustainability in ancient Egypt. The legacy of Egyptian perfumery continues to inspire modern fragrance traditions, reminding us of the timeless power of scent to unite people across time and space. The Egyptians' use of perfume was closely tied to their understanding of the natural world, where they sourced ingredients from local plants, flowers, and resin. Their approach to perfumery reflected a respect for the environment and a commitment to sustainability, ensuring that their practices were harmonious with nature. The cultivation of plants like lotus, jasmine, and henna was an important part of Egyptian agriculture, providing raw materials for fragrance production. The Egyptians also imported rare ingredients like frankincense and myrrh from distant lands, establishing trade networks that supported sustainable practices. This sustainable approach to perfumery highlights the Egyptians' understanding of the connection between humanity and the environment. Perfume as a cultural bridge. The story of ancient Egyptian perfumery is also a story of cultural exchange, where fragrance served as a bridge between civilizations. Perfume was one of the many cultural treasures that Egypt shared with the world, influencing the traditions of neighboring civilizations like the Greeks, Romans, and Arabs. This exchange of knowledge and materials reinforced Egypt's status as a center of innovation and artistry, where perfume became a symbol of cultural sophistication and global connection. The fragrance of eternity. As we reflect on the fragrant legacy of ancient Egypt, we are reminded of the timeless connection between scent and eternity. The presence of perfume in tombs and temples reflects their belief in its eternal significance, where fragrance was seen as a bridge between the earthly and spiritual realms. Today, the fragrances of ancient Egypt continue to captivate us, offering a window into their world and reminding us of the enduring connection between scent and humanity. Conclusion. A civilization of scent. The story of ancient Egyptian perfumery is one of innovation, artistry, and spirituality. Today, the legacy of Egyptian perfume continues to inspire and captivate us, offering a timeless reminder of the power of scent to connect us to the divine, the earthly, and the eternal. In every bottle of perfume, in every waft of incense, there is a trace of ancient civilization that understood the magic of fragrance and celebrated its ability to transcend time and space. Perfume and gender roles in ancient Egypt. Perfume played a significant role in defining gender identities and roles in ancient Egyptian society. While fragrance was universally appreciated, its use and symbolism often varied between men and women, reflecting cultural norms and values. For women, perfume was closely associated with beauty, sensuality, and fertility. Love poems and songs often praised the scent of a lover, describing it as intoxicating and divine. Cleopatra, one of Egypt's most famous queens, was known for her mastery of perfume as a tool of seduction, using her signature fragrances to captivate and influence those around her. Scented oils and balms were used as part of daily grooming rituals, enhancing the skin's radiance and leaving a lasting aroma. Women often adorned themselves with floral fragrances like lotus and jasmine, which were seen as symbols of femininity and grace. Perfume also played a role in courtship and romantic relationships, where fragrance was used to attract and seduce partners. Fragrance was not merely a personal indulgence, it was a reflection of identity, values, and aspirations, shaping the way individuals expressed themselves and interacted with others. Dedicated to the goddess of love and beauty. This celebration included the use of floral fragrances, music, and dance to honor her presence. Participants adorned themselves with scented oils and garlands, emphasizing the connection between fragrance and joy. These events often included the use of incense, scented oils, and floral arrangements, transforming public spaces into fragrant sanctuaries. Fragrance was not just a personal pleasure, it was a cultural treasure that brought communities together in celebration and reverence. For men, perfume symbolized power, status, and masculinity. Scented oils were used to anoint the body during ceremonies and rituals, emphasizing strength and divine favor. Their methods reflected a deep understanding of chemistry and craftsmanship, allowing them to create scents that were both complex and enduring. This process required patience and precision, ensuring that the final product captured the essence of the raw materials. Men often chose fragrances with woody or resinous notes, such as frankincense and myrrh, which were associated with authority and protection. Greek philosophers like Theophrastus wrote extensively about Egyptian perfumes, praising their complexity and artistry. This fusion of traditions laid the foundation for the global fragrance industry, blending ancient wisdom with new discoveries. Roman emperors imported Egyptian fragrances as symbols of luxury and sophistication, incorporating them into their rituals and ceremonies. While their distillation techniques were less refined than modern methods, they demonstrated an innovative approach to fragrance production, laying the foundation for future advancements. The Egyptians' mastery of scent established them as leaders in the global perfume industry, shaping the way other cultures approached fragrance. Their mastery of fragrance continues to inspire us, offering a timeless reminder of the power of scent to connect us to the divine, the earthly, and the eternal. For the Egyptians, perfume was more than a luxury, it was a reflection of their values, beliefs, and aspirations. The revival of ancient formulas like Kifi and Mendesian offers a glimpse into the aromatic world of Egypt, allowing us to experience the scents that shaped their culture and spirituality. They used stabilizers like honey, wine, and salt to prolong the life of their perfumes, ensuring that their fragrances remained potent and pure over time. These innovations reflect their mastery of perfumery as both an art and a science. Combining creativity with technical expertise, it reflects their deep understanding of fragrance as a tool for connection, expression, and transformation. The use of perfume by both genders highlights its universal appeal and cultural significance in ancient Egypt. Perfume and festivals. Celebrating fragrance. Perfume was an integral part of festivals and celebrations in ancient Egypt, where it was used to create an atmosphere of joy, reverence, and connection. One of the most famous festivals was the beautiful Feast of the Valley, held in honor of the dead and the gods. During this event, participants burned incense and applied scented oils as part of their offerings, creating a fragrant connection between the living and the divine. Perfumes symbolized purification and renewal, ensuring that the spirits of the deceased would be welcomed into the afterlife. The Festival of Hathor was another occasion where perfume played a central role. These festivals highlight the communal significance of perfume in ancient Egypt, where scent was used to unite people and create shared experiences. The science of Egyptian perfume. Advanced techniques. The Egyptians were pioneers in the science of perfumery, developing advanced techniques for extracting and blending fragrances. One of the most notable techniques was maceration, where ingredients like flowers, resins, and spices were soaked in oils or fats to extract their aromatic compounds. The Egyptians also used distillation, a method that involved heating ingredients to release their volatile oils. Preservation was another area where the Egyptians excelled. Perfume in global history. Egypt's influence. The legacy of ancient Egyptian perfumery extends far beyond its borders, influencing the fragrance traditions of civilizations around the world. The Greeks and Romans were particularly influenced by Egyptian perfume, adopting their ingredients and techniques to create their own scents. Arabian perfumers also benefited from Egyptian innovations, refining distillation techniques and blending local ingredients with Egyptian imports. Even in modern times, the influence of Egyptian perfumery can be seen in the ingredients and philosophies used by contemporary perfumers. The eternal fragrance of Egypt. As we explore the fragrant legacy of ancient Egypt, we are reminded of the timeless connection between scent and humanity. From the temples of the gods to the tombs of the pharaohs, perfume was woven into the fabric of their culture, shaping their rituals, identities, and legacies. In every bottle of perfume, in every waft of incense, there is a trace of ancient Egyptian civilization that understood the magic of fragrance and celebrated its ability to transcend time and space. Conclusion. A civilization immortalized by scent. The story of ancient Egyptian perfumery is one of innovation, artistry, and spirituality. Today, the legacy of Egyptian perfume continues to inspire and captivate us, offering a timeless reminder of the power of scent to connect us to the divine, the earthly, and the eternal. In every fragrant creation, we honor the legacy of ancient Egyptian civilization that celebrated the magic of fragrance and understood its ability to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. Perfume and medicine. Healing through fragrance in ancient Egypt. Perfume was not only a luxury, but also a tool for healing and medicine. The Egyptians understood the therapeutic properties of fragrance, using scented oils and balms to treat physical ailments, promote mental well-being, and purify the body. Ingredients like myrrh and frankincense were prized for their antiseptic and anti-inflammatory properties, making them essential components of Egyptian medicine. The Egyptians believed that certain scents could calm the mind, uplift the spirit, and restore balance to the soul. The smoky aroma of incense was thought to drive away negative energies and create an environment of peace and protection. Lotus flowers, for example, were associated with relaxation and rejuvenation, while cinnamon and cedarwood were used to invigorate and energize. These oils were also used as balms for mummification, preserving the body and symbolizing purification for the afterlife. Perfumed oils were often applied to the skin to soothe inflammation, heal wounds, and protect against infections. These substances were chosen for their symbolic and sensory qualities, representing purification, renewal, and protection. The smoky aroma of incense was thought to carry prayers and messages to the divine, creating a fragrant connection between the earthly and spiritual realms. These jars were intricately designed, reflecting the cultural and spiritual significance of their contents. This understanding of fragrance as a symbol of continuity and transformation remains one of the most enduring aspects of their culture. Myrrh, frankincense, and cedarwood were among the most commonly used ingredients, reflecting their spiritual significance. Fragrance also played a role in mental and emotional healing. Incense was another important tool for healing, burned during rituals to cleanse spaces and promote spiritual harmony. The revival of Kifi offers a sensory connection to the ancient world, allowing us to experience the scents that shaped their culture and spirituality. These vessels reflect the importance of fragrance in their culture, where scent was treated as both a luxury and a spiritual treasure. As we unlock the secrets of their fragrances, we are reminded of the timeless connection between scent and humanity, a connection that transcends time and space, allowing us to rediscover the fragrances that once filled their temples, palaces, and tombs. Using techniques like gas chromatography and mass spectrometry, researchers have identified the chemical compounds in these residues, revealing the formulas used by Egyptian perfumers. Advances in technology and scientific analyses have provided valuable insights into the ingredients, techniques, and cultural significance of Egyptian perfumes. Museums and exhibitions dedicated to ancient Egypt often include displays of perfume jars, incense burners, and other artifacts, celebrating the artistry and significance of their perfumery tradition. From the temples of the gods to the tombs of the pharaohs, fragrance was woven into the fabric of their culture, shaping their rituals, identities, and legacies. The use of scented oils and incense in funerary practices reflected the Egyptians' belief in the transformative power of scent, ensuring that the deceased would be welcomed into the eternal realm. It reflects the Egyptians' deep understanding of fragrance as a tool for connection, expression, and transformation. These practices highlight the Egyptians' holistic approach to health and wellness, where fragrance was seen as a powerful tool for healing both the body and the soul. Their mastery of fragrance continues to inspire us, offering a timeless reminder of the power of scent to connect us to the divine, the earthly, and the eternal. Their understanding of the therapeutic properties of scent laid the foundation for aromatherapy, a practice that continues to thrive in modern times. The story of Cleopatra's perfume, for example, has become a symbol of power and seduction, reinforcing the cultural significance of fragrance in Egyptian history. Perfume and the afterlife. Scent as a path to eternity. Perfume was deeply intertwined with Egyptian beliefs about the afterlife, where fragrance was seen as a tool for purification, preservation, and connection to the divine. During mummification, the body was anointed with perfumed oils and balms to preserve it and prepare it for the journey to the afterlife. Perfume also played a role in funerary offerings, where incense and scented oils were burned to honor the gods and guide the deceased's soul. Tombs often contained jars of perfume as part of the burial goods, ensuring that the deceased would have access to fragrance in the afterlife. The presence of perfume in funerary practices highlights the Egyptians' belief in its eternal significance, where scent was seen as a bridge between life, death, and rebirth. Perfume and modern archaeology. Rediscovering the past. Modern archaeology has played a crucial role in uncovering the secrets of ancient Egyptian perfumery. One of the most significant discoveries came from the study of tomb artifacts, where traces of scented oils and bombs provided a glimpse into the composition of ancient fragrances. These discoveries have led to the recreation of iconic fragrances like kifi, a complex blend of honey, wine, resins, and spices used in religious ceremonies. Archaeologists have also uncovered perfume jars and containers, providing insights into the craftsmanship and artistry of Egyptian perfumery. The study of Egyptian perfumes continues to captivate scientists and historians, offering new perspectives on the values and beliefs of this ancient civilization. Perfume and cultural identity, a timeless legacy. Perfume remains one of the most enduring symbols of ancient Egypt, reflecting the sophistication, creativity, and spirituality of its people. Today, the legacy of Egyptian perfume continues to inspire and captivate us, offering a window into a world where scent was seen as a divine gift. Egyptian perfume also holds a special place in popular culture, appearing in films, books, and art that explored the mystique and allure of this ancient civilization. As we breathe in the fragrances of our own time, we honor the legacy of ancient Egypt, civilization that understood the true art of perfumery and celebrated its ability to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. Conclusion: the fragrant legacy lives on. The story of ancient Egyptian perfumery is one of innovation, spirituality, and artistry. From the temples of the gods to the hearts of lovers, perfume was woven into the fabric of their culture, shaping their rituals, values, and identities. In every bottle of perfume, in every waft of incense, there is a trace of ancient Egypt, a civilization that understood the magic of fragrance and celebrated its ability to transcend time and space. Perfume is a symbol of power and divine authority in ancient Egypt. Perfume was not just a luxury or a personal adornment, it was also a symbol of power and divine authority. Fragrance was used to reinforce the status of rulers and priests, emphasizing their connection to the gods and their role as intermediaries between the earthly and spiritual realms. Pharaohs were often depicted being anointed with scented oils during rituals, symbolizing their divine right to rule. The smoky aroma of incense was believed to carry prayers and offerings to the divine, reinforcing the connection between the earthly and spiritual realms. These oils were infused with ingredients like frankincense and myrrh, which were considered sacred and reserved for the highest members of society. The act of anointing was seen as a way to purify and sanctify the ruler, ensuring their alignment with the cosmic order. Egyptian fragrances were highly sought after by neighboring civilizations, establishing them as a symbol of luxury and cultural sophistication. Fragrance was not merely a sensory experience, it was a tool for expressing power, purity, and divine favor, shaping the way individuals understood and interacted with their leaders and deities. This exchange of knowledge and resources reinforced Egypt's status as a center of perfumery, where fragrance became a symbol of global connection and cultural exchange. These materials were transported along trade routes like the Incense Road and the Nile River, reflecting Egypt's role as a hub of commerce and innovation and significance, where scent was seen as a universal language capable of transcending borders and uniting people across time and space. Perfume also played a central role in temple rituals, where priests used incense and scented oils to honor the gods and create a sacred atmosphere. Contemporary perfumers often draw inspiration from Egyptian formulas, incorporating ingredients like frankincense, myrrh, and lotus into their creations. The use of perfume by rulers and priests highlights its significance as a symbol of authority and reverence. Modern recreations of kifi offer a sensory connection to the ancient world, allowing us to experience the fragrances that shaped Egyptian culture and spirituality. Perfume and trade. Egypt's global influence. The prominence of perfume in ancient Egypt also contributed to its status as a valuable commodity in international trade. Their mastery of scent reflects their deep understanding of the human experience, where fragrance was seen as a bridge between the earthly and divine realms. These discoveries remind us of the timeless connection between scent and humanity, where fragrance becomes a tool for preserving memory and celebrating identity. The fragrances of ancient Egypt offer a window into their world, allowing us to experience their values, beliefs, and aspirations through the magic of scent. Perfume was not just a sensory experience, it was a language of the senses, capable of expressing identity, emotion, and spirituality. Their mastery of fragrance continues to inspire us, offering a timeless reminder of the power of scent to to connect us to the divine, the earthly, and the eternal. These exhibits serve as a testament to the enduring appeal of Egyptian fragrance, bridging the past and present through the magic of scent. It reflects their deep understanding of fragrance as a tool for connection, expression, and transformation. Perfume ingredients like frankincense, myrrh, and lotus were exported to regions as far as Mesopotamia, Greece, and Rome, where they were used in religious ceremonies, personal adornment, and medicine. The Egyptians also imported rare ingredients from distant lands, blending them with local materials to create unique and exotic fragrances. The influence of Egyptian perfumes on other civilizations highlights their enduring appeal. Perfume and modern inspiration. Reviving ancient scents. The legacy of ancient Egyptian perfumery continues to inspire modern fragrance traditions, where the ingredients, techniques, and philosophies of the Egyptians are celebrated and revived. One notable example is the revival of Kifi, a sacred incense blend used in religious ceremonies and healing practices. Museums and exhibitions dedicated to ancient Egypt often include displays of perfume artifacts, offering insights into the artistry and significance of their perfumery tradition. The study of Egyptian perfumes also continues to captivate scientists and historians, where advances in technology have provided valuable insights into their composition and cultural significance. Perfume as a timeless connection. The story of ancient Egyptian perfumery demonstrates the universal power of fragrance to connect people across time, space, and culture. For the Egyptians, perfume was a tool for communication, used to honor the gods, celebrate life, and preserve memory. Today, the legacy of Egyptian perfume continues to inspire us, reminding us of the timeless connection between scent and humanity. Conclusion. The eternal fragrance of Egypt, the story of ancient Egyptian perfumery, is one of innovation, artistry, and spirituality. From the temples of the gods to the hearts of lovers, perfume was woven into the fabric of their culture, shaping their rituals, values, and identities. In every bottle of perfume, in every waft of incense, there is a trace of ancient Egyptian civilization that understood the magic of fragrance and celebrated its ability to transcend time and space. Perfume as a spiritual offering in ancient Egypt. Perfume was deeply connected to the concept of spiritual offerings. Fragrance was considered a gift to the gods, used to honor their presence and seek their favor. The smoky aroma of incense was thought to carry prayers and messages to the gods, ensuring that the offerings would be received with favor. Ingredients like frankincense, myrrh, and cedar were commonly used, symbolizing purity, protection, and divine connection. This practice reflected the Egyptians' belief in the transformative power of scent. Where fragrance acted as a bridge between the earthly and divine realms, incense was one of the most important tools for spiritual offerings, burned during rituals to purify spaces and create a sacred atmosphere. For the Egyptians, fragrance was not merely a physical presence, it was a spiritual language, capable of expressing their deepest values and beliefs. Perfumed oils and balms were also offered to the gods, often applied to statues and altars as a sign of devotion. Their access to sacred fragrances reflected their importance in maintaining the cosmic order, ensuring harmony between the earthly and divine realms. Scented oils made from local ingredients like lotus and cinnamon were used during festivals and ceremonies, reflecting their cultural significance and universal appeal, where fragrance was seen as both a luxury and a necessity, shaping the way individuals expressed themselves and interacted with others. These substances were chosen for their sensory and symbolic qualities, reflecting the Egyptians' understanding of fragrance as a tool for transformation and renewal. The use of perfume in spiritual offerings highlights its significance as a symbol of reverence and connection. This process required patience and precision, ensuring that the final product captured the essence of the raw materials. Their methods reflected a deep understanding of chemistry and craftsmanship, allowing them to create scents that were both complex and enduring. These materials were blended into complex fragrances that reflected their status and authority, reinforcing their connection to the gods and their role as leaders of society. These vessels were intricately decorated, reflecting the cultural and spiritual significance of their contents. Perfume and social hierarchy. This approach demonstrated their ingenuity and adaptability, laying the foundation for modern perfumery techniques. Scented oils and incense were used to prepare the body for the afterlife, ensuring that the deceased would be remembered and honored. These substances were chosen for their symbolic and sensory qualities, reflecting the Egyptians' belief in the transformative power of fragrance. Perfume also played a role in defining social hierarchy in ancient Egypt, where fragrance was seen as a marker of status and privilege. Texts like hymns and poems often describe the scent of flowers and incense as a sign of spiritual presence, reinforcing the connection between fragrance and memory. The use of scented oils and incense was often reserved for the elite, emphasizing their wealth, power, and cultural sophistication. Their understanding of fragrance as a symbol of eternity remains one of the most enduring aspects of their legacy. Fragrance was used to commemorate important events, honor loved ones, and celebrate cultural traditions, ensuring that their legacy would endure through time. Pharaohs and nobility had access to the finest ingredients, including rare imports like frankincense and myrrh. It reflects their deep understanding of fragrance as a tool for connection, expression, and transformation. Priests and temple officials also used perfume as part of their rituals, emphasizing their spiritual role and divine favor. And humanity, where fragrance becomes a bridge between the past, present, and future. For the common people, perfume was less accessible but still valued as a tool for personal adornment and spiritual connection. Their mastery of fragrance remains a testament to their creativity, spirituality, and cultural sophistication, a legacy that transcends time and space. The use of perfume across different levels of society highlights its versatility and importance in Egyptian culture. Perfume and innovation. The art of Egyptian perfumery. The Egyptians were pioneers in the art of perfumery, developing innovative techniques for extracting and blending fragrances. One of their most notable innovations was the use of a technique where flowers were pressed into fats to extract their aromatic compounds. The Egyptians also experimented with solvent extraction, using substances like alcohol and wine to dissolve and preserve fragrant oils. Their attention to detail extended to the design of perfume containers, which were crafted from materials like alabaster, gold, and faience. The Egyptians' mastery of perfumery remains a testament to their creativity and innovation, offering a timeless reminder of the power of fragrance to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. Perfume and memory. Preserving identity through scent. For the Egyptians, perfume was not just a sensory experience, it was also a tool for preserving memory and identity. The use of perfume in funerary practices reflects its role as a symbol of memory and continuity. Perfume also played a role in storytelling and cultural expression, where fragrance was used as a metaphor for beauty, love, and divine connection. The Egyptians' use of perfume as a tool for preserving memory highlights its significance as a cultural treasure, where scent becomes a language of identity and continuity. The legacy of Egyptian perfume. The story of ancient Egyptian perfumery is one of innovation, artistry, and spirituality. Today, the legacy of Egyptian perfume continues to inspire and captivate us, offering a timeless reminder of the power of scent to connect us to the divine, the earthly, and the eternal. From the temples of the gods to the tombs of the pharaohs, perfume was woven into the fabric of their culture, shaping their rituals, values, and identities. Conclusion. The fragrance of civilization. The story of ancient Egyptian perfumery demonstrates the universal appeal and significance of fragrance, where scent becomes a tool for expressing identity, memory, and spirituality. In every bottle of perfume, in every waft of incense, there is a trace of ancient Egyptian civilization that understood the magic of fragrance and celebrated its ability to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. As we explore the fragrant legacy of Egypt, we are reminded of the timeless connection between scent, perfume, and literature. Fragrance in Egyptian texts. Perfume held a prominent place in ancient Egyptian literature, where it was often used as a metaphor for beauty, love, and divine connection. Hymns, poems, and inscriptions frequently referenced fragrance, reflecting its cultural and spiritual significance. Phrases like "her breath is sweet as lotus" or "the fragrance of her skin is like the gods' offerings" highlight the intimate connection between fragrance and human emotion. These references reinforced the belief that fragrance was a divine gift, capable of purifying and transforming the earthly realm. In love poetry, the scent of flowers and perfumed oils was used to describe the allure of a lover, symbolizing their beauty and charm. The inclusion of fragrance in these texts highlights its importance as a tool for continuity and renewal, ensuring that the memory and identity of the deceased would endure. Religious texts often describe the use of incense and scented oils in rituals, emphasizing their role in honoring the gods and creating a sacred atmosphere. Perfume was also mentioned in funerary texts, where its use in mummification and offerings symbolized the deceased's journey to the afterlife. The smoky aroma of incense was thought to carry prayers and offerings to the divine, ensuring that the gods would be pleased and the cosmic order maintained. These substances were chosen for their purity and potency, ensuring that the rituals would be effective and transformative. Ingredients like frankincense, myrrh, and cedarwood were commonly used, reflecting their symbolic and sensory qualities. These practices reflected the Egyptians' belief in the eternal significance of fragrance, where scent became a bridge between life, death, and rebirth. For the Egyptians, fragrance was not just a sensory experience, it was a sacred art, shaping the way they understood and interacted with the divine. These references remind us of the timeless power of fragrance to inspire and captivate, shaping the way we understand ourselves and the world around us. From temple ceremonies to funerary practices, scent played a central role in shaping the spiritual experience. These images reflect the Egyptians' understanding of fragrance as a tool for expression and transformation, where scent becomes a visual language of identity and aspiration. These depictions remind us of the timeless connection between scent and humanity, where fragrance becomes a tool for preserving memory and celebrating identity. Traditional ingredients like lotus, frankincense, and myrrh are still used in perfumes, reflecting their enduring appeal and significance. These creations offer a sensory connection to the past, allowing us to experience the scents that shaped Egyptian culture and spirituality. These depictions highlight the cultural and spiritual importance of fragrance, emphasizing its role in shaping their identity and legacy. These traditions remind us of the universal power of scent to inspire and connect, shaping the way we understand ourselves and the world around us. The presence of perfume in Egyptian literature reflects its universal appeal and significance, where scent becomes a language of expression and connection. These spaces serve as a testament to the enduring appeal of Egyptian fragrances, bridging the past and present through the magic of scent. It reflects their deep understanding of fragrance as a tool for connection, expression, and transformation. Their mastery of fragrance continues to inspire us, offering a timeless reminder of the power of scent to connect us to the divine, the earthly, and the eternal. These vessels were not just functional, they were works of art, reflecting the cultural and spiritual significance of their contents. Perfume and rituals, the sacred art of fragrance. Rituals in ancient Egypt were deeply intertwined with the use of perfume, where fragrance was seen as a tool for purification, transformation, and divine connection. Temple rituals often included the burning of incense to honor the gods and create a sacred atmosphere. Priests also used scented oils and bombs to anoint statues and altars, emphasizing the connection between fragrance and divinity. Funerary rituals included the use of perfumed oils to prepare the body for the afterlife, symbolizing purification and renewal. The use of perfume in rituals highlights its importance as a spiritual tool, capable of transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary. Perfume and art. Fragrance in Egyptian iconography. The significance of perfume in ancient Egypt is also reflected in their art and iconography, where images of flowers, incense burners, and perfume jars frequently appear. Paintings and carvings often show individuals holding lotus flowers or pouring scented oils, symbolizing beauty, purity, and divine connection. Perfume jars and containers were also intricately designed, featuring motifs like flowers, animals, and geometric patterns. The presence of perfume in Egyptian art highlights its universal appeal and significance, where fragrance becomes a symbol of creativity, spirituality, and cultural sophistication. Perfume in modern Egypt. A living tradition, the legacy of ancient Egyptian perfumery continues to thrive in modern Egypt, where fragrance remains an integral part of cultural and spiritual practices. Modern perfumers often draw inspiration from ancient formulas, blending local materials with contemporary techniques to create unique and exotic fragrances. Markets and bazaars in Egypt often feature stalls selling incense, oils, and perfumes, offering a glimpse into the country's rich aromatic tradition. The revival of ancient practices like the use of kifi and lotus oil highlights the timeless significance of Egyptian perfume, where fragrance becomes a tool for preserving memory and celebrating identity. Conclusion. The eternal legacy of Egyptian perfume. The story of ancient Egyptian perfumery is one of innovation, artistry, and spirituality. From the temples of the gods to the hearts of lovers, perfume was woven into the fabric of their culture, shaping their rituals, values, and identities. In every bottle of perfume, in every waft of incense, there is a trace of ancient Egypt or civilization that understood the magic of fragrance and celebrated its ability to transcend time and space. As we breathe in the fragrances of our own time, we honor the legacy of ancient Egypt, civilization that celebrated the magic of fragrance and understood its ability to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary.